Alright, today we're going to learn how to paint a painting in a style called Dazzling Drips. Alright, the question of the day is, who is Rafi Perez? Alright, let's run through the colors. Pearly red, quin red, primary yellow, cad yellow, Van Dyke brown, phthalo green, turquoise, quin blue, ultramarine blue, Mars black, titanium white. Alright, today we're going to paint in a style called Dazzling Drips. We just got our first layer. We got that dark purple. We got this really nice kind of gesso mixed in with this layer here with the yellow, the quint red. I think I mixed in with a little bit of black to make it kind of a mauve color, and white. We got this cad yellow mixed in coming through here. We see a little bit of the purple and the orange coming through. This really nice layering. So we're going to add in now, I think, more blue layers to contrast the red layers. So we're going to make it darker, maybe brown here to blue. So we'll see what we do in this layer. We got our next layers in. We darkened this up kind of a blue black, so very similar in color, so not much difference there. And we got a lighter blue coming in here. I tried to keep some of the underlying features. The issue always with light blue, because you're using white, is it going to be very opaque, so there's not really an option there. I've used a very translucent blue turquoise to kind of keep that underlying layer for drips. And then we have a similar pattern here, pretty good drip pattern. So now we'll add back the warmer color. So Rafi Perez is originally from Chicago, and then after his first marriage he met an artist named Clee, and they decided to kind of do this tour around America, and they hand painted a kind of a Ford old F-150, I want to say, that Rafi was there, and they kind of drove around for quite a while. And then after, I'm not sure on the time frame, but they settled into Pensacola, which was well, first they went down to very southern tip, Key West. I think they were there 6 months, and they toured around Florida basically, and they arrived at Pensacola. I think the North Shores, it's probably better temperatures, and you have a lot of tourism still, not as much as southern Florida, but you do, it's Florida, right? Most visited state of all the country. So they settled in a good kind of tourist town, so they were able to sell work there locally. And originally he got into the museum in Chicago, but then, you know, it was his friend entered him, so he wasn't really sure. And then when he got into the museum, heard his dad's kind of pounding on the artwork, boom, 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 and saying, "This is crap." So his dad wasn't exactly the most encouraging guy, and his dad was kind of, I think, a Cuban immigrant, and he always was kind of in the jewelry business and told his son, "You're going to be in the jewelry business or get a professional job." And so his son didn't want to be in the jewelry business, so he got a corporate job, you know, to kind of feel like, you know, feel that need of paying the bill somewhat, but not really knowing how to sell your art, which many of artists kind of fall into, especially, you know, 10, 20 years ago, there really wasn't that much information out there like there is now on YouTube per se. And so then, you know, once he got back into art, you know, he really kind of full force into it. And, you know, one of his styles that he's generated, we used a lot of kind of drip work because he didn't really want to do the typical beach scenes in Pensacola or beach ball of Pensacola. So he's like, I don't really want to do that. And he kind of want to do more abstract style of a beach. So he has kind of this drip style. And I saw a few of them, and sometimes he paints birds in them on like on a telephone wire or something. And I'm not really a fan of painting birds, but I saw the drips and I was like, I've done drip style before. I was like, I'm gonna do another drip style, right? So basically one of the inspirations for my styles for Dazzling Drips was actually seeing kind of the painting in the background of Rafi Perez. He really doesn't do painting tutorials per se, but he does have the painting in the background sometimes of some of his videos. So I saw that and I was like, well, I can do that. And I know how to kind of do multi-layering and abstract work, so I would really feel for how to make that paint really move. And it really inspired me to kind of figure out how to do multiple layers, because before I'd done drips and they're just really thick paint, and then you only get one layer basically, and you can do a lot of different layers, but it's more kind of similar to how Pollock worked. And so I wasn't able to get like those translucent layers, so I figured out how to do the translucent layers, and that's how I got to Dazzling Drips. And that's my question of the day: who is Rafi Perez? All right, we just finished the paint. Let's take a closer look. So we got this really nice kind of purple, dark blue at the top. There's a little bit of a transition to the dark red, not too much. Got a little bit of the light blue kind of starting to poke through there from the earlier layers, with a little bit of that yellow coming in through the earlier layers way deep down there. We got this nice orange forming at the bottom of the red that goes straight into kind of just your standard cad yellow with a little bit of white in it. I kind of tried to wash that out so it was only a little bit there. I think it's pretty good. You got that nice light blue from that earlier layer, which, you know, really kind of penetrates through that. Going back into that nice red and dark red at the bottom here. So overall, I like the drip pattern in this. I think it's pretty sharp. I was thinking, you know, layered in another layer just to kind of tone down a little bit the orange to the blue to make that transition a little better. I could have done that. I think it's fine as is. It has kind of a strange transition, I would say, from this turquoise to the orange. There's no real kind of combination of those colors. There's a better transition at the bottom, I would say. So that's kind of where I think that works the best, as well as there's a lot of water drips through that, so you kind of can't tell which layer that is in, so that you want that kind of feel to it. There's a really nice pattern edge at the bottom with the turquoise. There's a little bit at the top, but more at the bottom. And the drips patterns at the bottoms with that orange to blue is more contrasting, I would say. So overall, I think it's a pretty good painting. I like it. Hopefully you guys like it. Give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you on the next painting video. Thanks for watching, guys.